Hey everyone, welcome to today's Behind the Beat tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you how I made my latest beat, Relentless, and in my opinion, this is the best beat I've made. Just like how all the pieces work together, the simplicity of it, it's just like, such a fire beat. So I'm going to show you my whole thought process of how I did it, because I know this is going to help you guys in your beat making. And a lot of producers, they always talk about, they even confess it. They're like, I try and keep everything I do secret and secretive, but I don't think that doesn't help anyone. And so I want to help you guys by giving you everything that I do and showing you the software, the instruments, the effects, the techniques I use, because I want to help you out and I want you to become the best producers that you can be. So to start off this song, I started with this sample, this string sample. So really simple, just some nice chords. And then I added in a piano. So first up, I'll just tell you how I manipulated this sample. So this is the original sample. And basically I added isotope vinyl just to add a bit of wear in the warp depth. And I took the year down to 1960. Now what the year does is basically the lower you go, the more sort of space it takes out of it. So if you listen to year 2000 and listen as we go down, so it sort of ages it. So I wanted to take all the low end out, and I didn't want it to sound like too thick because I wanted to make room for the 808 basically. So that's what I did there, just like takes it out but not too noticeably. And then I didn't want to really add a counter melody, I just wanted some ambience. So I have this piano line, which sounds like this. And so how I made this one was, first of all, chucked on halftime. Just have it on 2 bars. Then I put Then I put isotope vinyl on. So again, I took the year down a bit, added some depth, there's some warp in it, some wear. Then I put reverb. Now reverb is what created the ambience. As you can see, I put mix 100, 2.5 second decay, sorry. And this is what it sounds like. So it fully like washes it out. It makes it like an ambience instrument. And so when you listen to it with strings, it just gives a really nice atmosphere. And here we have the high piano. So this riff looks like this. So the original piano sounds like this. So I added in a channel EQ to cut out the lows and some of the highs. Then isotope vinyl. I'll make a video on isotope vinyl, and you can check that out just above. And this, I'll just go through this plugin, how it works. It's actually a free plugin. I highly recommend you download it. It's really good. I use it a lot. So this, I just took the year down a bit. Tap delay, this is actually saturation, which I made a video as well. Click above to look at that video. It's a secret hidden saturation tool. Then I got some silver verb on that, just a little bit, and some RAM reverb. And so together they all sound like so. Just some nice ambience. And the next thing I added in was the snare. So usually I start with the snare. So just solo them out. Yeah, so this is the snare. It's the pattern for it. So again, I use my drum pads and I tap this in. And I think it's really important that you make the phrases. So usually, you know, a lot of producers will just have like a 4-bar phrase where the melody, you know, is different for 4 bars, and then they just repeat that through the whole song. But I think that can sound very monotonous, and so at least try and make your loops 8 bars long. And you know, as you can see, all the drums for 8 bars, these main drums are completely different. So the melody may have repeated, but all the drums are unique for those 8 bars. And I'll show you what I did with the 808 in a second. I did a lot of variation with how the kick worked with it, and that kept it very, you know, interesting and unmonotonous. So here's the main hi-hat. Then I added in an open hi-hat. And then what I added in was 2 more hi-hats. Now these hi-hats, just solo them. They look like this. And again, yeah, I tap these in, but I have these volume pretty low, but they're panned, and so you've got the main hi-hat, but these just like sort of give it a bit of movement. So, listen to these with headphones because you'll be able to hear all the panning, and that's the key to this beat. So with the main hi-hats. So just adds that depth to it. And then I got in some percussion. This is actually like a snare sort of sound. Solo that out. Then we got a rim shot, and down here we got a gunshot. And over here we got some more hi-hats. It's like 6 layers of hi-hats, but that just fills out the song heaps. And then we got yeah, a ring sound. So when I make beats, really the only main instruments are these 3 really, the main drums, sorry. But like as you can see, I've added in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 more instruments or percussions, because it just adds in just gives it another element, and that's really important. Like you need those extra ones, and this is another snare I put in. Sort of the syncopation. And the 808 here, this is how the beat starts. There's various combinations, you know, rhythms and stuff. And this is what the 808 sounds like. And then we lay that with this kick. There's together. Then we move on to the second pattern. So the kick is doing more. As you can see, the kick is hitting more with the bass. Then we move over here. This is in the verse when the 808 comes in again. So we have a bit of suspense here. That note, you know, is longer than here in the chorus. And there's no slide there. So So just like keeping it really interesting. And that's basically like, there's a lot more combinations, but I won't go through them all. And so this is what the beat sounds like. I started off with these strings here, but then I also added a low pass strings, and so basically the same sound, just took out some highs. So transitions like this. And it does a little spin down thing. So how I did that, the spin down was, first up, Logic's got something built in where here it's called spin down. So you go region, more, and instead of fade out, you just change it to spin down, however long you like. And then I also layered that with isotope spin down element, which is this button right here. So I automated that, so it comes in and this is what it sounds like. So just layered them two together and they gave it a really nice sound. And together sounds like this. I took out the bass and kick and the snare, and so arranging is something that is really important. And for a long time, I underestimated the power of arranging, and I sort of just like slapping the beats together. But this beat, I spend a lot of time arranging it. As you can see, it's unique through the whole thing. 808 bass, kicks, they're always being mixed up throughout the song, and that's really key for a great beat. Then I bring in the drums. And here I pop in a riser just to introduce the chorus again. And here on the last verse, it's like a feature verse, and we got two rises here, and here it starts. And then here, this third verse, and then we sort of go here, and it cuts. Sort of bring it all back, and then it'll spin down. So very good. That's how I made it. And the melodies, I kept them very simple. Like the piano, the strings, the other piano, like I purposely made them very simple so it could leave room for the 808. Not just frequency wise, as I cut the lows, but also like if that was too busy, it would take away from the 808, the impact of the 808, the melody of the 808. So I actually like to make my 808s melodies, not just, sort of there. So it's important that, that they're actually an instrument as well. So you have them tuned right, in your key. And yeah, like for real, I just made all these melodies and stuff in it, and just like popped it in. So that's how I did that. And the next stage is mixing the song. And so this is where I put a lot of effects on, get all the balance right. Yeah, here we are. And so this is what the mix looks like. I started color coding them. So that's the bass. These are the three main drums. These are the extra drums, the percussion, melodic instruments, and risers. And I think that's really important. So when you can visually look at it and you can visually see where all the different parts are. And here's the mix up. And I'm about to release a video on the mixing side of it, like, you know, the best mixing template you can make in Logic. So click above to see that video, and I'll go through the template that I made to allow you to easily just start mixing faster. And so basically I've got all the bass is being sent here, all drums are sent here, all percussion, and you know, for the rest of them. I got some reverb, parallel compression, which is where you can just choose how much you send it to a bus, and then you can, for instruments like kick, bass, snare, you can choose how much parallel compression you want. I EQ'd out all the highs and lows that weren't being used, and again I had the two EQs for the bass and kick. They actually fit really well together, so I didn't need to do any crazy EQing, but boosted this. I like this frequency in the kick, so I boost that, take away that, and 808. And I added compression, so this is what the kick sounded like originally. Hold up. This is what it sounded like. And I added some parallel compression, just to give it a bit more of a hard hit. Same with the snare, that was before, after. Now all this stuff's very subtle, and it needs to be subtle. It can't be obvious, otherwise, you know, it's too much. So here's the bass, and then I added some compression, so it just helps it to stand out a bit more. On the gunshot, I added delay, so it goes, it sounds like this. And then I added reverb to a lot of the percussion. And then this ring sound, this is what that sounds like. I added, I just added the EQ there. But I added some stereo delay, so it sounds like this. Just to give it that, you know, nice element. And a lot of the time I was just, in mixing, I was just getting all the levels right. Then I did some panning. So this snare and this rim shot were kind of getting lost. So the rim shot's getting lost in the snare, sorry. So I panned the snare a bit left, rim shot a bit right. I got the high piano a bit to the right, as the main strings is a bit to the left. Then you got the left hi-hat, right hi-hat. They're the standard hi-hats. Then the extra hi-hats are panned as well. And altogether it sounds like this. And once that stage is done, next stage is mastering. And here is the final track. And I just put Ozone 9 elements on there. It's a great plugin. Use the Master Assistant. And we took out some low end, boosted some low mids, and took out some highs. So just cleaned it up a little. And maximizer. Just put a lot of compression on it. Made it as loud as it can go. And that's how I made the beat. So simplicity is always key when you're making beats, like producing. You don't want to overthink it. You don't want to like bombard the listener too much with, you know, all this, you know, what you might think is amazing, all this like artist stuff, like all these extra things, but you just got to keep it simple so people can just have an easy listen, like, you know, hear the main riff, like just enjoy it. So keep that in mind when you're making beats. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications so you don't miss more videos, and I'll see you guys in the next video.